All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to this special edition of Marvel Plus, the podcast usually devoted solely to the Disney Plus Marvel series, but today we're also talking everything, everything MCU that's coming up over the next 3 years. They announced 2 days ago at San Diego Comic Con, or Comic Con International as it's now called, I guess. They announced the full slate of films and series for Phase 5 and a good portion, some really big important stuff for Phase 6. And I couldn't help I couldn't pass up the opportunity to discuss this with a couple friends here on the podcast. So it's a little impromptu, a little last minute put together conversation. I hope you enjoy it. But let's jump into it. I have my good friends Kurt Schmidt and Ken Janssens. You should know both of them from previous episodes. If you don't, please go check out previous episodes featuring them. Great, great guests. And yeah, let's jump into the conversation. This is good. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining me for this impromptu, last minute Comic Con discussion. Wasn't planning on even doing this, just because the timeline is full of movies too, and usually we just discuss the Disney Plus stuff on this show. But I decided, like, what the hell? The people who come here and listen to the Disney Plus stuff, I'm sure they won't mind us talking about upcoming films as well. So, I've got here with me Kurt Schmidt
Hey, what's up?
and Ken Janssens.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Screenwriter extraordinaire,
Exactly.
Ken Janssens.
Yes. Right.
And then we may have some others joining us. I don't know for sure yet, but they could be popping in. I've invited a couple more people to the discussion. So if you guys are ready, we can jump right in and start talking about this crazy timeline that they revealed at Comic-Con the other day.
Yeah.
So did both of you guys kind of see this whole timeline, like, as it came out, like yesterday or today sometime?
Yeah, I saw basically most of it as it was coming out. Like, you'd catch something on Twitter or someone would post it. Half of them I saw a few.
Yeah.
But yeah, a few of the trailers too, which hopefully we also talk about the end of Phase 4, because I'd like to talk about that Wakanda trailer. Woo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, why don't we start out there then and just kind of discuss how they're going to close out Phase 4 before they move into the new stuff. I was actually surprised they went so far ahead and gave us anything from Phase 6, but I feel like the stuff they gave us from 5, 6, like, those were the big things that everyone's been, like, waiting for. Are they going to do another Avengers movie? Like, how are they going to do that? When are they going to do that? And I think it was important for them to give us something like huge like that to look forward to. So it makes sense. But before we even get into Phase 5, we have wrapping up the rest of this year, basically, Phase 4. So what's next? We got She-Hulk coming up, which we've discussed quite a bit on here. I'm sure we'll discuss even more. But are you guys looking forward to the She-Hulk series? What do you think of that?
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I am, because I was a big fan of the John Byrne issues back in the I'll say late 80s or 90s. I'm not sure exactly when they came out, but they were the first fourth wall breaking that I ever read, I think, in comics. And of course the art was gorgeous, and it's just a time that he could do no wrong. John Byrne, I mean, from everything from the DC stuff, Legends, and the new Superman stuff, and then he did a Submariner comic book, which I loved. And yeah, so just reading those books back then and then seeing that they're kind of taking that same thing for She-Hulk, I'm pretty excited. The trailer, not yet, but hopefully that changes once the show actually starts.
Did you see that they put out like an updated trailer with Comic-Con?
I didn't want to watch it just because I was kind of disappointed from the first one. So I'm like, oh, I don't need more of that. I'm going to watch the show. I don't need to get more info. And I usually do that. I watch the first one, and then I don't watch any more subsequent trailers. So I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to be disappointed, I guess.
Yeah. Well, also they're doing 9 episodes. I'm sure you guys both know of that now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to why, like, this series now. It's like, how come none of these other series that they've done so far, besides WandaVision, which was kind of a unique series in itself, like the way they broke up the episodes, and that could have probably been a 6-episode series if they wanted to do it that way. But well, first of all, Kurt, You and I have kind of discussed it, but I don't think we've discussed it on the show. Like, what are you thinking about the She-Hulk trailer and the series altogether?
It's funny because me and Ken, I think, are a lot alike. Like, I read the Byrne stuff and I was really excited for it when I found out they were doing the show. After seeing the trailer, it fell all the way down to the bottom of my list of excitement because I didn't see much similarity with the Byrne stuff. I saw her move shifting in and out of her regular body and the Hulk body, which wasn't a thing. She does break the fourth wall. I normally only watch the first trailer because I feel the same way. Like, I'm going to watch it anyways. I don't need to see anymore. Unless it's like so good, I might watch it a second time or something. But the Hulk one was so bad, I didn't want to watch it again. I watched the new one because that seemed like the stuff that I saw, the news coming out I saw was like so positive. Like, oh my God, they updated the effects. It looks so much better. And then they're like, there's this, I don't know if I feel like I shouldn't spoil it for you guys because you haven't seen it, but there's a character that pops up at the end of the trailer that like you see in the shadows. And it's got me really excited for that possibility, but I thought the effects still looked like crap. The trailer didn't do anything for me other than the character that comes in at the end.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll be on the lookout for it, man. I'll definitely watch it for sure. I don't know if Ken will because he doesn't want to spoil it, but I'll probably watch it
because I'm sure someone will spoil who that character was, so I might as well watch it myself instead of get it told to me.
Yeah. It's just a thing right at the end. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to She-Hulk much.
No, so 9 episodes didn't excite you anymore when you heard about it.
No, because it looks like Mark Ruffalo Hulk. We don't see him, but we see the Hulk, his version of the Hulk. He's a lot. He's got a lot of screen time in this updated trailer. It doesn't. To me, it looks like he plays a big part like throughout the whole series. It doesn't look like he just comes and goes. I wonder if that's got an impact on the 9 episode thing. I'm always skeptical, so I just think like, if they're paying the big name actor, then they're going to get as much out of that name as they can.
Yeah. The only thing, were you guys confused at all by the fact that I think it was at the end of Shang-Chi we see Bruce Banner not in Hulk form, and then in the She-Hulk series we see Smart Hulk again.
So I guess I wonder when Shang-Chi is supposed to have taken place. Then was that before Endgame or?
I don't know. I don't know that they. I would assume not. I don't think they referenced Thanos in it at all. But at the end of it, it's Mark Ruffalo, but it's also Ms. Marvel. She's there as well, right? And they're like, I'm pretty sure it's both of them, and they're like, I could be wrong. Maybe it's not Ms. Marvel. All I know is it's very confusing to me that Mark Ruffalo is Smart Hulk, and then he's not Smart Hulk, and then he's Smart Hulk again. It's very strange, and maybe it has something to do with why she can change back and forth. Like maybe that's what they're going to discuss in this series, is like some way to like revert back to the other your human form, and that's why she's able to do it. Where in the comics she was.
This could be. Well, I don't know. I guess they wouldn't be jumping around in the timeline. They probably want to avoid that as much as they could, right? I was just thinking maybe this takes place in a different part in the timeline too.
Could. Or hey man, we're here now. They're calling this the multiverse saga. So who knows, man? Maybe there's more than one Hulk going on. Maybe these are different realities. We never know.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the only thing after that is the new Black Panther movie, right? Is that the only thing left this year?
Yeah.
So, and they dropped an actual trailer for that. So let's get into that. Let's since Ken, you were looking forward to talking about it. What did you think of that Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer?
Well, I'll start with saying the original Black Panther movie I liked, as I pretty much like all these Marvel movies, but I didn't like it as much as everyone else did, I think. But I watched this trailer and I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. I mean, just the mood of it. I like the whole. Obviously, I assume he's going to have passed away, Black Panther, before the movie starts. I don't think they're going to try to show something with effects or anything like that.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, so if it's just about a nation trying to get back together, on their feet, and trying to find some kind of identity, and then along comes Submariner, who looks amazing, and it's just war between these two nations. I am there. Take my money. I'll be the first in line. It looks amazing.
Yeah, Kurt, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked good. I thought it was like a perfect trailer. Because I have no idea what the hell's going on, right? Like they don't seem to give you much. It's just like a hint. Like you take away that the Panther's dead. You get the hint of a new Panther at the end, probably female, right? By the body type. You see the Submariner. What else? What else was it? You see Riri or Ironheart.
Right.
Yeah, it looks good. Like they give you a lot to be excited about. The effects look really good. It looks cool. The music was good. I'm excited for it. I'm real excited for it. I think it's gonna give Spider-Man a run for its money, man. With money.
I do too. Yeah. I think it's going to be up there like the first Black Panther in terms of like hitting that $1 billion mark. I think it's going to be a huge movie again. People have been waiting for this. And it was such a movement the first time, like such activation, and like I feel like this is like it's just people are going to come back for that 100%.
I wonder, like the Submariner. I know it was like I don't know when it was, but it was like retconned into his history that he was the Marvel's first mutant, and I was never much of a fan of his. I think he's part of Atlantis, right? I wonder if they'll continue the mutant storyline with him, and also does he, since what we got from San Diego was that this is what is this saga called? The multiverse saga, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if he comes from a different universe. And like that's, I don't know. It very much like how do you put the mutants into the current MCU, right? With their history. How do you put like the Atlantis storyline or people living in the water?
Yeah.
And it sounds awfully like Wakanda, and what they're just hiding under your nose forever. And how many different civilizations are you going to have hiding in these pockets, like completely undiscovered, right?
At least two.
At least two. I think it could fit in. Like they could tie. Maybe that's how this ties in with the multiverse.
Could be. It could be. I know that they hinted at this all the way back at Endgame, right? Like they were talking to the Wakandans and they were saying something about picking up, I don't know, what is it, sonar or something in the ocean. And it was just a quick reference, like, you blink and you miss it type thing. But like they were all kind of updating each other what was going on in between that 5-year gap or whatever. Like, what are you working on? What are you working on? And then the Wakandans were like, well, there's still this thing coming from the ocean. We're not sure what it is, but so they have hinted at it. So I don't know if it'll be like another universe, just because they've already.
Okay.
But who knows, man?
I don't remember
when you're messing with the timelines, like you can basically rewrite anything you want to at this point, like because of this Kang saga that's also kind of going on. And it looks like it's going to be going on for a really long time, for at least the next 2 years. So who knows? I mean, they could retcon anything they want. Like it's
Yeah.
literally turning into a comic book. It's like a comic book on the screen. Like, let's change this history. We can do that now. We can travel through time and all the stuff that convolutes and like confuses people in comic books. All right. So yeah, I think we're all looking forward to Black Panther 2. Wakanda Forever. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I love the first one. My whole family loves the first one. My wife doesn't even like really MCU stuff. She doesn't like comic book movies, but she loved Black Panther. She liked Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Like I'm slowly getting her into it, but I think Black Panther was the first one that she really, really enjoyed. So, cool, man. We can get into now like a lot of the brand new stuff in this next part. Phase 5 was fully announced. Every single slot was announced for the next Phase 5, which is basically all of the year 2023 and part of 2024. It's like a year and a half worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And the first thing, go ahead.
I was going to say, like looking at the list and stuff, at least the one that I found, which I think is the same thing that they had up on screen, it seems like there's stuff that's like missing from it because they don't have like the Christmas special that's supposed to be coming out, right?
Uh-huh.
The Guardians Christmas special. And I feel like there were some other shows. Oh, like they don't have the X-Men cartoon show, but I don't know. I feel like there's other stuff maybe, but
you're right. I don't know why that is either, because also the Spider-Man freshman year, that's not on there either. Nor is like I think they talked about it there, but I didn't see it on that timeline. But like Marvel Zombies, is that
Marvel Zombies? Isn't there a second season, The What If too?
Yes, and that's not on this timeline here that I'm looking at. Ken, are you seeing that, or do you remember hearing that out of Comic-Con?
I can see why X-Men 97 isn't on there, because that's got to be totally out of continuity, unless they're saying that's one of the multiverse things. But
right.
Well, and maybe this is all the new stuff they want to show and everything, and the shiny stuff and the cartoons and that's kind of, they think of that as a little lower down, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that Spider-Man freshman year might be a different version of Spider-Man too. And I don't remember where I heard that, but that it might not be the same version of Spider-Man that we have right now, like the Tom Holland version. So I don't know.
But yeah, Charlie Cox, I think, is supposed to be Daredevil on that, so that's interesting.
In the cartoon?
Yeah, in the cartoon.
Oh, really?
Oh,
really?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
that's really cool. Hadn't heard that. All right, so let's just go through the timeline here. We already knew that Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania was coming. What are you guys expecting from that? I personally, I had heard all this stuff about Kang being in that, and now it looks like we're going to be dealing with Kang for a long time, for the next 3 years, basically. So if Kang is in that, how big of a part could he play in it? Because, if he can't be the big bad. They're not going to do fight Kang and then fight Kang again, or are they?
Well, it's going to be different Kangs, right? Because apparently in Loki, when you killed that Kang, you opened up to all these other Kangs. So you can kill them off, 14 times until the Kang War in Phase 6, I guess. But I'm really looking forward to it because, as Brett, I love the ending of Loki in that last episode with Jonathan Majors, the guy who plays Kang. And so if he's the bad guy, and love Paul Rudd, watch anything he does. So yeah, this is going to be a big one for me, I think.
I just watched the original Ant-Man the other day. I'm I don't know, indifferent about Ant-Man. It's outside of Black Panther. The next thing I'm excited for doesn't happen until like a whole year after that. So nearly.
All right. All right. Well, moving on then. So, what about this Secret Invasion series? That looks like. Hold on. Is that next? Yes, spring 2023 Secret Invasion.
I wonder what that's. That's so undefined, right? Like that's the one, I guess, between that and the Avengers. You don't know and the Thunderbolts, you don't know who's going to be in that, right? I mean, at least in the Thunderbolts and the Avengers, you have an idea of the characters. Secret Invasion, who the hell is going to be in that? Are they going to bring everyone into that? Have you heard anything?
The only thing that I know for sure is that when this first was being like kind of announced, toyed with, talked about, it was called the Nick Fury series. So it's definitely gonna have a lot to do with Nick Fury. We know he's out there in space right now, so I'm guessing we're gonna figure out what's been going on out there and who the Skrulls are finally.
I think Maria Hill plays a big part, so I think it's all the ex-Shield people from the movies, and they've talked about having Quake from the TV show come into this somewhere, so maybe she'll be in it too. But if it's based on the Secret Invasion storyline in the comics, it's going to be a lot of Skrull action, and so there's I assume, going to be a couple characters we've been watching in some shows or some movies that hasn't been that person for a while, and it's been a Skrull. And I think they're going to do one or two reveals, like, oh, you blah 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 hasn't been this person for a long time.
Do you guys think that they're going to actually have any major characters turn out to be Skrulls that we've been watching, or if they're just going to stick with, like, Maria Hill was a Skrull, and or are they going to be like Hawkeye was a Skrull? That whole series, he was a Skrull. Like,
that could explain why Thor's funny.
Yeah, why is he funny now?
Yeah. I don't think it could be someone who had their own movie or something like that, because then those movies are usually like almost like a first person type thing, so they would know they were a Skrull, so it would be kind of hard to do that. But it could be one of the bigger supporting characters, like who knows exactly. But
yeah, I was curious about that. Like, how much could that really like shift? That's another thing that could change what we've been watching and what to expect, is if you have people turn out to be Skrulls and all that stuff that happened doesn't really matter for that character or changes that character's trajectory in some way. Like, it's just like the timeline. Like, they can kind of rewrite stuff by just going, oh, it was a Skrull. Like, we didn't like that. We didn't like how that turned out, so we'll just say it was a Skrull.
I wonder, you can't do any of the new characters, right?
it doesn't have any gravitas if it's just someone you just met.
Yeah, not only does it doesn't have that, but also, like, you're not gonna invest all this to just take them away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't the TV show, I would say that you would think maybe it'd be somebody big, like Thor or Star-Lord or somebody like that, because that's an easy way you could, like, write them right out.
Well, it's probably going to be what's her name from Captain America, the TV show and the movies, who
Peggy.
Who acted really different in Becky or Sharon Carter. She acted really different in the Captain American Falcon thing. I'm like,
yes,
Skrullish to me.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. Sharon Carter didn't, she was like almost a straight up villain in that series, and it did seem out of character. So, and dude, I know this isn't going to be true because they've already made 2 movies with him. Like, it would be majorly insane if they did it. But I remember watching that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer and going like, man, Doctor Strange is not acting like Doctor Strange in this. I was like, maybe he's a Skrull, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Do Skrulls get powers, or can they just look like the person?
So, I thought they could just look like them. I was told recently, though, I think it was Ryan Fraseri who told me no, they take on the powers and abilities of the person they take over as well.
I know the Super Skrull can do that. I don't know if all of them can, but I'm not well versed in them. So
it's because they, I guess, copy you down to the genes or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's what Ryan says. So if he's wrong, Ryan, you're wrong, man, and it's your fault. Put it on Ryan. So
maybe it's Bruce Banner.
It's what?
He could.
Bruce Banner. That's why you see him at some places not hulkish and some places hulkish. Yeah.
That's another one. It could be. Absolutely.
It could be. I think it very well could be Strange. Looking at the lineup, I mean, he doesn't really have a place in any of these upcoming movies, right? I mean, not like a set place. you could take him out. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like they wouldn't do a whole Doctor Strange movie and not have it be him. But I don't know. Who knows? I'm also, hey, didn't they in the Doctor Strange movie? Didn't someone reference Spider-Man? Didn't Doctor Strange reference like Spider-Man or Peter Parker or something?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I feel like he did. I don't know, like maybe he was talking to Wong or something and mentioned. I'm like, everybody's been making memes and jokes for the past year about like, who's that guy in the picture? It's like, it's Peter Parker, but you're not supposed to know who he is. You know what I mean? Because of No Way Home. But I'm pretty sure someone referenced him in that movie. Anyway, on to the next, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, May 5th, 2023. As James Gunn is coming back for this. So what do you think? Are you guys Guardians fans, Ken?
Love the first one. The second one left me wanting. Love seeing the characters and all the Avengers stuff and the last Thor movie and stuff like that. Am I as excited about this movie as some of the others? No. I don't know if it's going to be more of the same. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect. Like I said, I don't think it's one of the ones I'm least excited for, but who knows? It could turn out to be the best one of all of them. I don't know.
Yeah. Kurt?
After seeing them appear in Thor, I'm not that excited for it. I felt like that appearance kind of, it was like lackluster. I don't know.
Phoned in, I felt like.
Yeah, they all phoned it in. They all looked out of shape. They looked like, I don't know. They did not look happy. But I don't know. I really enjoyed the first and second movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't heard. I don't look into the stuff too much. But yeah, I have no idea what the movie could be about.
I gotta assume it's about.
Have you heard anything?
If this is the last one, which I think it might be, I assume it has to be about getting Gamora back or something to that effect, or
maybe
she's alive, right? Except she doesn't know who he is, who Star-Lord is. So maybe it's about getting those two back together somehow through.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Is that was Guardians where they quickly introduced Adam Warlock and then never mentioned it again?
Yeah.
So they might.
That's the first one.
They might come back to that then.
They will actually. I heard. Now that you mentioned it, I think they mentioned that the actor Will Poulter, I think his name is, he's in it. So.
Okay. Cool. So there's that to look forward to. I think as long as they don't see, I was not the biggest fan of the latest Thor movie, and I just think they did too much. Like it was too.
What's disjointed?
It was too comedic for the dark aspects of it. It was like they didn't mesh well at all together. It didn't feel like the same movie, you know. You got someone dying of cancer, and you've got this, someone losing their child, and wanting to destroy the gods, and like it's just wildly different than Thor goofing around and being silly. And it was like, this doesn't, it doesn't feel like the tone is off. That several different tones in that movie. So as long as they don't do something like that with Guardians, like just try too hard to make it a certain way or up the ante on what they've already done, then I think it'll be good. If they can just repeat what they did with the first two films, I think it's along with Ant-Man, and I love Thor: Ragnarok. Like I'm not afraid of comedy in the MCU. I think it's great, but I just felt like they tried too hard in that one. Like it was a little too much, too many jokes that didn't land. And so, hopefully, Guardians 3 with James Gunn, and James Gunn, just did that Peacemaker series. I don't know if you guys have watched Peacemaker, but
no, the Suicide Squad movie, but not that.
Peacemaker might be one of the best things that DC's done in like a long time. It's really a lot of fun, man. And comedic and heartfelt and all the things, without feeling disjointed, like we were discussing. So if James Gunn can replicate what he's been doing lately, I'm all for it. I'm all for Guardians 3. Okay. The next big thing on the list is the Echo series. And we discussed this a little bit back when she first appeared in the Hawkeye series. I really liked her character in that. And I'm looking forward to this series, not really because of Echo though, but because I've heard that that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning for that series, and we'll get to see them again well before we get to that Daredevil series that's coming up. So, well, how are you guys? What's your temperature on Echo, Kurt?
I'm looking forward to Echo. I really liked her character in Hawkeye. I like her in the comics. I'm a big Daredevil fan. I really liked it a lot, and I'm looking for. This is one show that I'm really looking forward to.
So you lied.
I did. I'm looking forward to Daredevil the most, but then this is a very close second.
Okay.
So I'm gauging you like the street level characters better.
Yeah. Yes.
I do too. Yeah.
Ken,
Yeah.
you looking forward to Echo?
Yeah, for probably most of the reasons you said. I don't know Echo from the comics pretty much at all. I don't know if I've read more than an issue or two with her in it. But of course, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in there will be great. Get more. I kind of felt she got short shrift when she was introduced in Hawkeye. It was like great, and then they're like, oh, but we're going to kind of put you to the side now because we've got this shinier object when Black Widow 2 came in. So
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what they do with her. She was a great character in that, and yeah, just having all of them together and see how much we see of the old Netflix shows. I hope we see some more stuff. I want to see more Jessica Jones and more Luke Cage. So hopefully we just get some tidbits of that, or some characters like Foggy or someone like that.
Yeah, and you know, in retrospect, I feel like the Hawkeye series may have just tried to put too much in there. Like, I love that series; it's one of my favorite things we've gotten in the past couple years. But just thinking about like how much they actually crammed into 6 episodes, like Kingpin and Black Widow and Echo, and like so you're introducing all these things, and you know you only got 6 episodes to tell a story. So I felt maybe it was a little too much. Maybe it was a little much.
I think it's just it wasn't enough time. I think they had all the elements and they could have played it out better in 8 or 9 episodes. But I guess how much it cost, they had to go down to 6 episodes. I don't know. But
yeah, and I don't agree with you guys with that. What do they introduce? They introduced Echo and the new Hawkeye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kingpin we're familiar with. Hawkeye we're familiar with. We know he's got a wife. We've seen her. You know, like I mean, if you're a fan of the stuff and you've seen it, you're familiar with everything. Then I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot new. I think like that series worked the best for me because it introduced a little bit, a couple new characters, but then it did more to like tie stuff together. Show that it existed. It's like my problem with all the new stuff. Everything since Endgame, it's like hard to find its place in the MCU. Yeah. Like it feel like none of it relates to one another. It's just like happening in different parts. But that one, it felt like it brought existing characters in. Like you knew what world it was taking place in. He's watching the theater act or whatever, the musical.
Yeah.
She was in New York when the stuff happened, and then you see the stuff you see there. I mean, I don't know. I just that series worked the best for me in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite, and I agree with all the things you're saying. It's not the characters, the amount of characters. I think the plot was going one way, and then it jumped onto this track. But it's like, hey, look, that track still has things down it, but people on this track. Oh, remember that track? So it kind of seemed like they needed more to flesh it out. But I agree. I think it's the best of the group, the most fun, anyways. But I think Marvel may be a little bit a victim of its own success. You almost won't think everything has to be connected to like 5 other things. And with Moon Knight, I was kind of glad it wasn't. I'm like, if you read the comic books, most of the best stories are when it's not connected to anything else. When it's got its own storyline, it doesn't have to worry about this, worry about that. So I'm okay with that. I don't need it to connect to everything.
Yeah, and that's any comic, really. I mean, I don't like the crossovers nearly as much as I like solo stories. Like, I mean, or it could be an X-Men story, but I don't need an X-Men Avengers crossover. I don't need, other groups to show up, Fantastic Four and stuff to make it work for me. Like, I love reading a solo Wolverine story in a Wolverine book. So yeah, but yeah, we went on and on about Hawkeye, all to say that it's a really great show.
Yeah.
All right, so next up after Echo, we've got Loki Season 2. And so I'm guessing that's going to, take forward the Kang storyline and everything. And I was curious when they first announced a Loki Season 2, like, because I think I figured we were getting Kang in films before we'd ever see a Loki. And like, no, Loki's pretty much here. We're going to be seeing it in summer of 2023. So are you guys looking forward? Ken, I know you really loved how the Loki series ended.
Yeah.
So are you looking forward to Season 2?
Yes, for pretty much the reasons I said on I think the finale or the wind-up thing. Love where it went. I loved. Hopefully, Kang is back. Who says that he is though? I assume they'll be dealing with the multiverse and he'll show up somewhere. But anything that gives you more Owen Wilson, I can't remember the character's name, but anything that gives you more of that, I'm all for.
Yes, Mobius.
Mobius, right?
Mobius.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurt, are you looking forward to Loki Season 2? I know you weren't as hot on the Loki series.
No, I did not like the Loki series. No, I'm not looking forward to that show. I really dislike the first show. It's probably my least. It's at the very bottom of my TV show list. Yeah, there's nothing.
I'm gonna force
they
you to watch it.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you a guest on the show and bring you back for the round table so that you have to watch all of it.
Hopefully, the show actually has to deal with him, not like the first season where like he was like no part of the show. But,
Popped up at the end. Yeah.
It should have just been called. It could have been called anything. We've talked about that. I don't know. Hopefully, they do something with the character in the second season.
All right, now before we get into this next one, I don't know what both of you. I know Kurt, you pretty much enjoyed it, but I haven't talked to Ken about it a whole lot. The Ms. Marvel series.
Yes.
So Ken.
Okay. Yeah, did I like it? Yes, I very much did. The first 3 episodes I thought were fantastic. Loved how the down-to-earthness of it. I love the characters. Like, I mean, Kamala. I mean, that there's no end to her charm. Then it hit episodes 4 and 5, and I thought it just went off the rails, and it just, it's just like it hit a brick wall for me, and it felt like they almost like the Hawkeye one. They just decided to jump on into an entirely different thing that almost seemed like it had nothing to do with the rest of the plot. The bad guys, those interdimensional bad guys, they became, I don't know, a joke. I don't even understand what happened with them. But then they jumped back into 6 back to New Jersey, and then boom, it was all back again to what I loved in the first 3. So
yeah,
I kind of felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt.
Yeah, I can say pretty much the same thing. With that show though, there's so much good in all of them. Like it just outweighs that the 4th and 5th. All the good outweighs the bad or whatever. With that, I could look past it. She's one of my favorite new characters.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick someone over Yelena. She has my heart, but Ms. Marvel's great, man. That whole series surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting to be interested at all in it. Had no connection to the character, and also felt like, no way this is gonna pull me in. This teenager, 2020, kid, Pakistani American. Like, where do I relate to this character? And as soon as we saw that she was a second one of the series, you see she's a huge geek for the Avengers. And it's like, there's my end. Like, she's still a POV character for me. She's a big geek, and she loves to nerd out over the Avengers. So I was like, oh, okay.
She's got the best supporting cast too. Like she could,
oh yeah,
it's like Spider-Man level, like just the people around her. It's so fun. Like you just want to see more of them, right?
Yeah, I agree. So all that to say, the next film that's coming out July 28th of 2023. They're so specific on the films and like not on the series, but July 28th, 2023, The Marvels. How much are we looking forward to The Marvels, Kurt?
I'm looking forward to it just to see more of Kamala, and hopefully we do away with the other one. I forget her name. Whatever, Danvers, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand her. So
Yeah.
hopefully we do away with her.
I know you also were not a big fan of Monica Rambeau, and I don't know if it's just because they shoehorned her into that series or if it was anything else, but is it just because they jammed her in there for no reason or what?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't like that in that series. I totally forgot about her. Yeah, the Marvels, it's more than just two, right? It's going to be probably the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go in with two, right?
Say again? I missed that.
We'll probably go in with three, be left with two at the end of Miss Marvels or whatever it's called. Marvels.
You can only hope. Ken,
Yes.
Are you looking forward to the Marvels?
I think it's the movie that I'm the least sure what it could possibly be about. I mean, it's not like you've got big descriptions about any of these other ones, but I mean, nothing about the new Captain America movie coming out, but it's going to be Sam Wilson doing Sam Wilson stuff. Marvels, you're like, okay, so you've got this street-like character with Kamala, then you have the most cosmic of characters with Carol Danvers, and then you have in the middle Monica Rambeau. So I just don't know what we're going to get, but if you can see Kamala smirk the whole thing, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I went into the first Captain Marvel film the same way, like having no idea what really it was going to be about. I knew it was like had a '90s twist to it, and it was going to give us her origin, but like I didn't know anything about the Skrulls and how they definitely didn't know that twist that they were going to throw in that like, oh, these are the good guys. Like it was interesting, but not my favorite. It's lighter grade, probably a C for me, MCU film. So same as you, this is not at the top of my list of things I'm looking forward to, but Ms. Marvel surprised the hell out of me. This movie could too because of her. So after this, we have a pretty huge thing, a pretty huge moment for the MCU, and that is we're getting a Blade film, November 3rd. So, Ken, how much of a fan were you of the Wesley Snipes Blade film? And like, does that fuel your excitement for this? Were you a Blade comic book fan?
No, I didn't know really much from the comic books. Loved the first one, probably more because didn't really have many comic books back then. So to see one done at that quality level and to be that good of an action movie too was pretty mind blowing. The second one, I couldn't even tell you what happened in that one. The third one was pretty funny too. Good actioner. I'm looking forward to it. This one though, because I'm a big fan of the star, even though I can't say his name, Mahershala Ali. I love him a lot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think I'm guessing this is going to be a continuation of the Midnight Suns. I gotta assume that's where they're going with Moon Knight, Blade, whenever they introduce Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested to see this. And I love vampires. So interesting vampires, sparkly ones. So.
Yeah. I'm curious about that because I've heard about the Midnight Suns and I've heard about the characters that they could be bringing in to put this together. And I'm curious about how, like we were talking earlier about how Moon Knight really doesn't connect to anything. And I love that about the series. Like finally, we don't have to worry about connecting. It's just its own standalone thing. But I'm curious if they're going to kind of separate those storylines, like this kind of, I don't know, ghosts and undead and afterlife-y storylines from the rest of the more like cosmic stuff or the grounded stuff. it almost feels like since it didn't connect there, and then they're bringing in a Blade, they can connect Moon Knight to Blade somehow. Because I was wondering, like, looking at this time, I'm like, where are we ever going to see Moon Knight again? Like,
Yeah.
where does he fit? And I'm guessing that would be the most viable option for a
They're probably
Moon Knight
making,
appearance, right?
yeah, they're probably making like a horror corner, and that would be
Yeah.
kind of the horror corner, I guess.
Yeah.
So will it have much to do with all the other shows? Maybe not much, but that's okay. Some things just shouldn't go together. Like there shouldn't be a Daredevil Captain Marvel team up. Like
Yeah.
they're
You know,
entirely different storylines. So
as long as they keep as long as they keep Morbius the hell away from it, like I'm completely fine with that.
yeah.
Kurt, are you excited for Blade, man?
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with it. I like the 3 Blade movies. I like all 3 of them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how you guys are talking about. I wonder how it fits in. Maybe I could see how it might fit in with Agatha.
Mhm.
Vampires and witches and stuff, maybe. But otherwise, I
Maybe.
don't know. Does Blade get it mixed in with Avengers Kang? I don't know. I don't know how he fits in with that, but I don't know. It looks it's going to be a good movie. I have faith that it'll be a good movie.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really looking forward to it. And I just hope that I don't have expectations too much because I was a fan of the Blade films before that but I don't think they could. That's like saying I loved some of the X-Men films and I'm worried that the MCU will suck at it. I don't think they're going to suck at the X-Men. I think they're going to do a great job just like they've done with everything else.
Does Wesley Snipes get a cameo?
I don't know, man. Listen, I was talking to my friend Justin earlier, and he was all like excited. He didn't know what Secret Wars was about, and he had been looking into it all day. And he goes, "Oh my God, do you know what Secret Wars is about?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know what it's about." He's like, "This is the craziest storyline ever. They could have different versions of people fighting different versions of people." He's like, "We might get like Dolph Lundgren showing up with Thomas Jane, and like, they could have Logan. They could have Wesley Snipes fighting I don't know, like Logan.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He was very excited about this whole Secret Wars thing all of a sudden. And I'm like, yeah, I know Secret Wars. Yeah. But yeah, I guess he didn't realize what it was and how kind of ridiculous the premise of it is. But yeah, we'll get there. Next up, we have Ironheart. We talked about earlier that Ironheart shows up at some point in the Wakanda Forever film. We know she's going to play a part there. But what do you think about this? Someone taking up the mantle of Captain America. Captain America, of Iron Man, and what's that's going to do for like? It looks like they're working toward like the next Avengers film seem to be a different set of Avengers than we're used to. So it's like this new.
The same set of Avengers, just in younger form, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Younger female form.
Yeah, they got Black Widow, they got a Hawkeye, they got an Iron Man. Yeah. So, Ken, are you? Go ahead. Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh, sorry.
Ironheart.
Yeah, I wonder how she fits in with the Black Panther stuff. I'm a Chicagoan. Ironheart's a Chicagoan. I hope they keep that heart straight. I hope we got a lot of crime here in Chicago. I hope they bring it home and she does some good here.
So, Ken, are you familiar at all with Ironheart in the comics? Have you read any Ironheart stuff?
Very little. There's a group called the Champions that she's on. That's basically Young Avengers kind of type thing. So I read a few of that, but I don't know anything about her. But she looks cool, and it's going to be tough for her because everyone's going to compare her to Robert Downey Jr., which is kind of not fair. But no, it looks like it could be good. I'll watch it, but I really don't know anything about it. Hopefully they touch on a lot of the Iron Man stuff too. Like I hope they don't say it's just someone who has their stuff. I hope they weave in and out of that. They don't have to really
Yeah.
deal with Robert Downey Jr., but they could deal with some of the stuff around it. I hope.
Sure, they could. I mean, they could bring in Happy or something.
Yeah.
You know, do some cameos from.
There's a
Good.
part in the comics where so in the helmet, right, he's got Jarvis talking to him. Well, I forget how the story went, but Tony died in the comics, and she had like Tony's consciousness was living. He like uploaded it to the cloud or whatever, and she had his consciousness in her helmet. That I don't know if they'd be able to convince Robert Downey Jr. to do a voiceover, but that'd be fun, I think.
That'd be great. They could
Yeah.
just train for one day. He could probably shoot all those and go home with $1 million.
Yeah, and you know, nowadays they could literally probably just take all the stock audio they have of him and do a AI version of him. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's a thing. Like,
they could get like the YouTubers that cut together like Obama
Yes.
singing the song.
yes,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. So that could be a thing. I'm betting that her connection in the Black Panther series is just like that. She's a tech genius. It'll probably be like a her and Shuri kind of thing, like a team up thing for some reason, working on something. But yeah, it's not at the top of my list, but obviously I'm gonna watch all this stuff, man. I can't not. Not just for this show, but I'd be watching every single thing, no matter what, anyway. So,
Is that a movie or is that a TV show?
that's a show, Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll definitely be watching it and talking about it episode by episode. So, next up on the list, Winter 23-24, Agatha Coven of Chaos, which I originally heard was going to be called House of Harkness, and now they've showed us the actual name is Coven of Chaos, which I kind of like better. I like the Coven aspect of it, but I love Catherine Hahn. I loved her in WandaVision. I'm not sure she holds a whole series like that character.
Exactly what I was going to say. I think they announced it, and then they were like, "Oh, look at all the other stuff we have. Oh, I guess we got to go through with this."
Yeah, I'm not sure she holds like carries an entire series, or that I'll be that interested. Like, what story do they tell now that she's been kind of mind wiped? They go back and tell her origin.
It's like having the Aunt May series or something like that.
It's kind of strange.
That's where the Coven comes into play, right?
Mhm.
She'll be a bit player. She'll be Doctor Strange in her own movie where she's sharing the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what story they'll tell with that, because they did already kind of give us an origin for her in the WandaVision series. They went back and showed like how she became what she became and became so powerful and stuff. So I'm interested to see it, but I'm not like incredibly looking forward to an act of the series. I never, when they first announced it, I'm like, I think they're jumping the gun here. Like, a little quick for that announcement. All right, huge announcement. I know we're all very, very excited for Daredevil Born Again, a full 18 episode series. I am rewatching Daredevil with my son right now for like the 5th time. I'm a huge fan of that series. I think it's one of the best things Marvel has made anywhere, movie, series, anything. I think it's one of the best things they've put together. All 3 seasons are incredible. Ken, how much are you looking forward to Daredevil, and what do you think of the 18th episode announcement?
I'm very intrigued with the series. I can't wait for it. I hope they settle once and for all how much the old series is actually in the MCU. I think they gotta kind of tell us that so we can get our brains around it. Born Again is a great series in the comic books. 18 episodes. If they're going to do them in a row, I think they're going to have a problem. I think they have to pull a Breaking Bad season, the final season, and cut it into A and B. I think because it's the same storyline, they're saying it's 18 episodes, this storyline, the Born Again storyline, but I think they're going to have to break it up. I don't think they can knock it out.
That's a long time. That's a long time. And for me, for what I do, like breaking down series episode by episode, like that's a long stretch, man. 18 episodes in a round table. And if they split it in two, do I do 2 round tables? Do I wait till the end? Like, what do I do? So I'm super looking forward to it. Kurt, I know you are really looking forward to this, and you're rewatching the series right now too. And you
Yeah.
and I talked about the title, Born Again, and how it could just be a play on words because they're, you know, rebirthing Daredevil into the MCU. Because we've already seen the Born Again storyline play out on Netflix in like season 3. So what do you think about that? About like the whole title and what they're going to do with that?
I think the title is more a play on him entering the MCU proper. Like the Spider-Man series, like the Spider-Man movie titles, like the Homecoming, like they're bringing them home, right? And I'm thinking that the Echo series, much like Agatha, Echo and Agatha, Echo can't. I mean, is she going to hold the whole series herself? I think
Right.
it's going to be like a Daredevil, showing where he is.
All right. Ken, I know you got to go, man. I appreciate you being here. I'll pick up with you at some point. We will talk about the rest of this timeline, maybe the next time you're on, but I appreciate you joining in as long as you could. So thanks for being here, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, buddy. Guys, have fun.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Nice meeting you. Nice talking to
Nice
you.
meeting you. Bye.
Take it easy. All right. So, Kurt, it's just you and I left, sir. No one else has joined the chat.
All right.
But here we are. This next one is one that I'm probably one of the things that I'm most looking forward to, because I am such a fan of the Captain America series, and I loved. It's still one of my favorites. You know, that and Hawkeye are probably my favorites of the Disney Plus series, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But Captain America: New World Order.
That's man. What happens between like the last time we saw Cap, or like the new Cap, right? Last time we saw them, and this movie, there's going to be a lot that's going down, right?
Yeah.
Where do we see them again in Secret Invasion? I think I don't know. We gotta. Do we, with the title of that? Where do they? I think that they're gonna end up picking up on one of these threads somewhere along this line. Everything's building towards Avengers, right? Avengers King and Avengers, Secret War. So I don't know. New World Order, is that with all the clash of these multiverses finally coming together? Like that's the New World Order. Is that what they're talking about?
Right. Or is it basically what was going on in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where they're dealing with like everyone after the blip, and like there's all these groups of people who are like trying to find their place in the world. They've basically lost where they lived and all kinds. There's refugees everywhere. There could be something going on there, like a bigger entity tries to take over or something, and it literally is like a New World Order situation, like somebody's trying to take over. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not even sure that this movie will as much build towards the Kang stuff or the Avengers stuff, and that it might just be building for that next movie, Thunderbolts, if anything, like somehow tie into that. But maybe not, because I mean they come out really close together. So Captain America: New World Order is May 3rd, 2024, and I'm just realizing something about this whole timeline. They did it quicker, but it's literally they put in some series in place of movies, but it's literally about the same amount of content between big events. It's 3 phases, and at the end of that 3rd phase, you get a double Avengers movie. And now again, it's going to be 3 phases, and at the end, you get a double Avengers movie. So that's pretty damn cool, man. Like I was starting to think like man, like I don't want them to drag it out over 10 years again. I'll be fucking dead before we get
Yeah.
an X-Men Age of
Yeah.
Apocalypse, you know? So I was like, how are they going to do this? And then, you know, are they just going to end each phase with a big event? But it looks like they've just basically sped it up. You know, now that they got the formula, they know what they're doing. They're going to be able to do 3 phases in like about 4 to 5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the first go around, like there's a lot of space between the first few movies, right? Because they didn't know what it was, all like pending approval or pending results, right? Now you just roll them out, like you could, you force people to watch them before they even come up with whether they like it or not. I don't know, like it'd take like a really bad movie for something to go wrong, right?
Right. Yeah. I think and it's like even if you had a bad movie, there's another movie or series right around the corner to make you instantly forget about it. You know? Like I'm hoping I'm about to do hopefully She-Hulk or hopefully Black Panther, you know, makes me go like Thor who? Like you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully it just overshadows Thor in a way that I'm like, okay, let's keep moving. Like Thor felt like it's kind of the end of an era. And then like Black Panther seems like this is a series continuation. We've got a lot more going on here.
So
Thor's the only character that's had 4 movies now.
yeah.
So it feels like in comparison to some of the other things, it's already been overdone. Like we're on Thor 4, but we're only on Black Panther 2. You know, we're only on Captain Marvel 2. So
I think that says a lot towards the actor and not the series as much.
Of Thor?
Yeah. I think they hired Chris. I don't know what like his contract is, but I look at him as like an athlete. You sign him up young, you get a favorable contract.
Yeah.
And you just like abuse the hell out of him.
Yeah, while he's all roided up and in fantastic shape.
You know?
You know what makes me sick? It makes me sick that Hemsworth is like my age. That makes me so mad.
Yeah. But then you got Sly, where it's just like, man, you got like another 30 or 40 years, you could still look that good, right?
Yeah.
Nothing saying you can't get there. It's just whatever you want to put into your system, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So you brought up looking at like the timeline, like the release timeline, and I didn't think about it with what Ken said, but I guess that makes sense. Daredevil is spring of 24, right? So if he's spring, all you have is movies after him. And I mean, they could always throw stuff in, right? But you got Cap in May, Thunderbolts in July, and then the Fantastic Four in November. Well, those are all movies. Or well, what's Thunderbolts? That's a movie, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a movie. I think it's a movie.
Because they say July, and they give a date. I think I'm not looking at the thing.
You're right. It doesn't say a season. It says it says an exact date.
Yeah. So I bet like they do split up Daredevil. They probably stop it right around the start of Cap, and then maybe start it back up just after Thunderbolts.
That'd be cool. Split it into 2 9 episode seasons. That could work.
I bet. Yeah.
I kind of hope they do, man, because that would build so much anticipation, and it would give me some interesting, like, it would give me a break between 9 episodes. But you know, we could do like speculatory episodes in between and stuff, like.
Yeah. And you know what, man? All right, now like this is what's great about these conversations, right? Because like as much as I could think about this stuff beforehand, it's not until you hear like somebody else talk about it and then it gets the wheels moving, right?
Yeah.
If I remember right, Frank Miller is legendary. Like he's the Daredevil writer, right? He's like the main reason why the character's even talked about. So he comes on to Daredevil. he does a lengthy stretch, and then I think he leaves maybe for a little bit, and then I think he comes back, and that's when you get Born Again, if I remember right. I wonder if that's like maybe that's how the series would play out. Um, you could have like the first 9 episodes bring Daredevil up, and then the second half bring him back down.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious as because you know they keep calling it a reboot, and is it a reboot? Because a reboot kind of starts things over and gives you a new version,
Yeah.
or is it going to be a continuation? I really hope it's a continuation because they just did so much great stuff over on Netflix that I just really hope it's the same world and we just continue on. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it's it. I don't know. Either way's fine with me if they split it up or if they don't. But
Yeah.
would it be a little disappointing? For me, it kind of would be if they played out that same storyline, but they just were trying to show you like, well, this is how the MCU would do it, you know?
Yeah. I think, yeah, I wouldn't like that. I think that there's a big storyline that finished off, like Bendis was working towards it and his run, and then Brubaker picked it up, and it's not really, it's like one of the, it's looked at, I think, as one of the worst Daredevil stories and like a really bad Marvel story in general. What is it? Oh man, I forget. Like he takes over, he becomes like the kingpin of Hell's Kitchen or New York. Like he kind of loses his mind. That's one of the things I love about the character is like he feels so real to me, but he like goes over an edge, and I wonder, like you could have that, you could play into that storyline where he just
Yeah.
becomes like a, I don't know, not power hungry, but like he just beats everybody down, and then everything goes through him. And there's a part in the comics where he like sits, it's like on a throne almost, when he declares himself like Kingpin. He takes
Yeah.
over the moniker, and you get Spider-Man, you get Peter Parker, which is like notably absent in any of this, right?
Yeah.
But he comes to Matt because they know each other. He comes to him and says, "Matt, you can't do this. You can't declare yourself Kingpin." You know.
Yeah.
But it's a similar storyline where like the mentally a similar storyline where he's kind of going crazy a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then brought back from the brink at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is like that's the exact way that Luke Cage ended. If you remember, Luke Cage season 2 ended with him. It didn't say that he was going to be bad, but it basically he was taking up the throne, like he was running Harlem. And he's like, "Oh, we're going to run it the right way or whatever." But it's like, you know,
Yeah, there's a fine line. And Marvel, like, man, where Marvel's good is like where they do that. That's like the Cap series or whatever. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They ride that fine line between good and bad, right?
yeah, yeah. It's the best thing about it, man. Yeah. So speaking of the Cap series, that's actually what we're supposed to be talking about right now, not Daredevil. We're talking about Captain
How did I
America.
get back to that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. We did though. We
Jesus.
did. Well, no, we started talking about the timeline, and then we started saying,
right.
well,
Yeah.
they are back to back. They both come out in the
Yes.
spring. So one's like I'm guessing March, and the other one's in like May. So that's crazy close. But I'm super looking forward to see what they do with the new Captain America. I loved the series. I'm loving Sam Wilson as Captain America. I think it works great. I love his costume. The costume's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome. And it's a costume that never would have worked, or at least they said never would have worked, years ago. But in this world of comic book movies being mainstream, it's awesome. Like, you can do that now. Put people in ridiculous. I want to see Wolverine in his actual costume when we see him.
Yeah. I hope they Marvel, like looking through the movies, like there's some of them where they they make some big jumps, but then like when they hit on something good, they just make little tweaks. I hope it's just like a little tweak for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That looks good.
Agreed. Yeah. I it's all speculation about what Captain America is really going to be about. I don't think either of us know, but you know, I don't know if there was maybe a comic storyline even that I don't know about that was like New World Order, because they do like to name stuff after storylines, you know, and that
Yeah.
could be what they're doing, bringing it back to Daredevil. Like it could just be, you know, just how they did. I don't know, one of the other movies that didn't actually line up really at all with the comic book storyline. It was just their version. They just called it that, you know.
New World Order. I wonder if they like thinking about the last like Captain America Civil War, right? Where
Mhm.
it was like almost like it was an Avengers like 2.5,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
more than a Cap movie. I wonder if that's where this will be, and like Thunderbolts would almost be like it'd almost be like a sequel to it. I wonder
Yeah.
how closely they'll lead into each other, because
Yeah.
I want to is it the first hint to the Thunderbolts is from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right?
Yes, and that's what. Yeah, and that's why I was thinking like they might basically be back to back, because it's like they're supposed to be like this is the part of the same story. Like one leads into the other. It might still wrap up in Captain
Yeah.
America, but maybe like the end credit scene will be like, oh shit, the Thunderbolts, like, you know, and then we get to see the continuation.
How crazy would that be if you got like if those were like sequels, and then the following year you have
Yeah.
the two Avengers movies as sequels, right?
Yeah, you know what's really interesting is, remember I said that they're speeding up the timeline as a comparison. It took them 10 years
Yeah.
to do the first, you know, big event, and
Yeah.
now it's taking them 5 years to do the second. So,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy about that. Like that means we can get a whole nother 3 phases over the next 5 years after that. All
Yes.
X-Men shit, you know, all X-Men stuff. That'd be great. Do a bunch of
Yes.
mutant stories.
Yeah.
End it with the Age of Apocalypse, a double film Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Um,
That would be
anyway,
cool.
when I think about speeding it up, though, um, man, where was I going with that? So they're speeding up the timeline. Captain America leading into okay. It's interesting. Well, we're talking about it in a minute, I guess. But how the Avengers, it's in the same year, man. It's not even a year apart from each other. It's 6 months apart. The movies. It's
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be crazy. That's gonna be a crazy year,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be a lot of money made. That year is gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Thunderbolts, since we were already talking about it. You know, who else do they add to this by the end, I wonder, because it looks like they're going to use Baron Zemo. We saw him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, um, and John Walker, right?
Yeah.
And then they brought in Yelena from Black Widow, and we saw her again in Hawkeye. So likely, I'm guessing we're going to see some more of her in that. Maybe she'll be a part of Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But it seemed like with her being recruited by Val, it seemed like that's where they're going with that.
Yeah.
They're creating Thunderbolt.
I wonder now. See, like the Thunderbolts, in the comics, the Thunderbolts, they were bad guys gone good.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's what we get with this.
Yeah.
We get that where
Well, that kind of fits, right? Other than
Yeah.
John Walker, they've all already kind of turned a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like Yelena is basically went from being a hired assassin
Yeah.
to looks like she's turning the corner a little bit. And then Baron Zemo, he was basically a good guy in that Falcon and
Yeah.
the Winter Soldier, and I loved him
Yeah.
in that. I can't wait to see him again. But his arc is cool, man. Like his arc from Civil War on is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. But then, yeah, I wonder who else they bring in to be a part of that.
I wonder if you get maybe you get Bucky in there. Maybe
Possible.
you could maybe get him. I want like I don't know. Maybe they do a turn. Maybe you get Lady Loki in there, or I don't know, Ironheart. I wonder. I feel like maybe you get a curveball somewhere. Like the stuff just can't all play out
We think
perfectly. Maybe
Abomination?
well, maybe you get Wanda back or something, right? Wanda, Agatha.
What's her redemption arc, man? What's Wanda's redemption arc at this point? I don't know what you can do with her.
I don't know. She's still there though, right?
Yeah, but it's like I feel like there's no way they can really bring her. It's gonna be like well, comic books, well,
Yeah.
movies. It's like who would forgive all that she's done?
You
Really?
don't. Yeah. I don't know if it is bad guys gone good, then they got to be fighting somebody. Like there's got to be a villain there. I don't know. At the end, you probably have like, I don't know, a turn.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, the only way I think they'll be able to redeem her is like her making a big impact on defeating someone much worse, like
Yeah.
saving the world. It's like the only way you get her redeemed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Thunderbolts is kind of up in the air. I feel like we've got about half the team, and we don't know what else they're gonna do with it. Like we've got what a year and a half to sort that
Yeah.
team out. So who knows what they're gonna do with it?
Maybe they go after Echo. I mean, we've only, who else? Like we've only seen what the hell? Elaine Bennis. She's only recruited one person, right?
Mhm.
She's got to come back in and recruit some
No,
other people. No, who
wait,
else is?
who is that? Is that the Val character you're talking about?
I don't know. It's what's her name from is she from Veep or whatever? I forget.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Okay, so her name is Val in the series. I know that.
Val. Okay.
Yeah, and she recruited John Walker.
Yeah.
She also recruited Yelena to go after Hawkeye at the end of Black Widow.
Okay. All right.
She's the one who sent her after Hawkeye.
Yeah. All right. You've said that. I just wasn't putting Val with her.
Yeah. So I don't know
Okay.
how they
Yeah.
do it, but I mean they could bring in Echo just because of the connection. They
Yeah.
were both in. They would know each other already from the
Yeah. I
Hawkeye
think
series.
I don't know. Like I see like the Thunderbolts are it's like a mirror image of the Avengers, I feel like.
Is it like Suicide Squad kind of?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Thunderbolts has been reimagined a few times. One of the teams you had a Punisher on Thunderbolts at one point. You had the Red Hulk. Oh, maybe it's where Abomination, right? They
Yeah,
keep on throwing him in there. Maybe he becomes a Thunderbolt. Why
I
the
was
hell
thinking
of all the characters in the world? Why do you keep bringing him back?
maybe for Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah, maybe.
What
I
else?
don't know.
All right, well, let's move on, man. Let's do Phase 6. They've only announced 3 huge films, and that just keeps people enticed, right? It's like we're nowhere near
Yeah.
these playing out. I don't know how we're gonna get to them, how everything's gonna come together to lead to that, but man, I'm interested to even like. There's no casting. There's nothing like. They're not talking about who's gonna be in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. So, I absolutely hated all of the Fantastic Four films that we've seen so far. And I was like, when they were talking about bringing F4 into the MCU, I'm like, please just skip to the X-Men. Like, bring us the X-Men
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like, at least it's redeemable. Like, some of those movies were really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, I think, has been shit every single outing, and I think they could do it way better.
Yes.
But it's just kind of like I'm just done rehashing this story. But I am interested to see what they do, and interested to see if they stick with John Krasinski and bring him back as Mr. Fantastic.
Man, I just thought about it. Johnny Storm in the last one, wasn't that played by what's his name?
Well, in the last one, it was Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, and then the first Johnny Storm was Captain America. Holy
Yeah, it's
fuck,
Chris
man!
Evans.
What, dude? What if this is the fucking multiverse and King did
Yes,
the
I know.
following movie? Dude, you
Yes.
have Captain America
Yep.
reprise his role. You
Yeah.
have fucking what's his name? I'm swear this is the most I've ever sworn on your thing. You have what's his name? Michael B. Jordan, but whatever his name was in Panther, you
Hmm.
have him come back, Kilgore or something, right? I forget.
Killmonger. Yeah.
Killmonger. I
Yeah.
Killmonger. You have him come back and reprise his role as Johnny Storm, and then you just fuck up all the original characters. Like they just come in and they're like, "Hey, aren't you dead?" Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Cap, you're back, and he's like, "Cap, who?"
Yeah.
Then you get Deadpool in that too, because it's now Fantastic Four is just one giant joke.
Yes. And hey, bring in both versions of Deadpool. Do that. Bring in the mouth Deadpool.
Both versions of Deadpool played by the same character. Oh my
Yes.
god, this is
How perfect would
crazy.
that be? Yeah, and then
Oh,
I think this is what Justin was leaning towards when he was saying like Secret Wars. What are they going to do with Secret Wars? And I was
this is
like,
why
yeah,
this is why
like
I hate the multiverse.
they could do. Listen, they could bring in Michael B. Jordan
Yeah.
and Chris Evans both as Johnny Storm,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both as Johnny Storm, and you could reintroduce a new Johnny Storm.
and you could
And
bring Chris Evans back as a different version of Cap if you wanted as well.
yeah, but then like all the characters that know Johnny Storm, like they know Evans as Captain America, they're looking at him like he's Captain America,
Yeah.
but like he's like I flame on, fucking Captain who?
Yes. Yes. Dude, I hope they do that. I hope it's
Oh
that.
my god.
I hope it's that ridiculous.
Oh
Because
god.
I feel like Secret Wars is a radically silly idea anyway. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, it was made to sell toys.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just think, I don't know, if you're going to bring in alternate versions of characters and stuff, like
Yeah.
that's you got to do it there, man. Like, introduce
Uh,
Fantastic Four. Get us used to this version of Fantastic Four. Maybe one of
yeah.
these um unnamed things that are coming out this year. We have 8 things that they have not named yet that are
Yeah.
coming out in that phase. How many of those are X-Men related? You know,
At least one. There's
right?
Deadpool. He's
Do
in
they
there.
do they build up this version of Fantastic Four, this version of X-Men, and then in Secret Wars bring back some old X-Men from the Fox universe, some old Fantastic Four from that universe, bring in Michael Chiklis, you know?
So you know what? One thing that we didn't mention, and I don't know, it might be I see so much stuff on the internet that I don't know what the hell's real and what's not, or what's like in my memory, because all this stuff is just like scattered. It's just like one blob of shit in there. I'm barely keeping it together, I feel like. But I think we get Doom in Panther. Did you watch the new trailer? You did. Did we get
Yeah,
Doom? Did we get a
I don't
mask of Doom? I feel
I
like
don't
we
think
got a mask of Doom somewhere, and I know I saw someone post pictures of the new like Marvel what's the toy line? Um what the hell is their whatever their toy line is.
I know what you're talking about.
Uh I think there's a Doom. He posted, a friend of mine was there, and he posted a mask of Doom, like maybe it was a build a figure or
Mhm.
whatever, and there was a mask of Doom, but I think it was in the the figures coming out for the Black Panther movie.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Yeah, that
crazy
would be.
and
I mean, that would be really early, unless it's a post-credit scene. That'd be really
yeah,
early to introduce Doom, especially if you're going to make him an F4 villain, and
yeah,
you're not getting Fantastic Four for another year and a half. It would be kind
yeah.
of early, but we saw Thanos like that, so who knows?
I I could have just seen like I mean, I'm gonna like kill all my if I had any credibility. I mean, it could have just been some like YouTuber that spliced in shit, and
Yeah,
I can't make heads or tails of anything, you know?
yeah, yeah. I'm actually personally, I'm willing to like bet that Doom will be in the next phase after these. Like they'll start doing a storyline like with Doom. Because I don't know, like with Secret Wars, are they going to use Doom to do that, or are they going to use like Kang? I mean, it seems like it's going to be part of the Kang story. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they introduce Doom going forward for the next phase, like, whatever, phase 7, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, all this other stuff, clearly Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are like basically one big movie. It's like Infinity War and Endgame. But it's so damn cool that it's going to be so close together. Like I remember waiting that whole year between the two movies, and that was crazy, man. But like 6 months is nothing. I mean, a year is nothing when you're our age. A year's nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
But 6 months, I mean,
I tried explaining that to my kids because I'm like, hey, you guys want to see like there's this new stuff, and my kids like, I gotta wait all the way until then, and I'm like, yeah, it's really not that far.
Yeah,
it feels far. It sounds farther than what it is. It's really not that big a deal.
Can you imagine that? Because you remember what it was like as a kid, though, right? Like a year, hell, that was forever. So, can you imagine if they did this stuff when we were kids, like announce stuff 5 years out? You'd be like, you'd forget about it.
I remember like the first announcement, like it felt like that, like like back when I don't know, whenever they did like the Avengers Outlook or whatever. Whenever they did the first one, it felt like, holy cow, I gotta wait this long.
Yeah.
But
the older you get, man, the faster the time goes.
Yeah, that's for sure. I wonder. There's press like that. They're gonna shoot both of these movies together. When they did the last Avengers one, did they put out stuff in between those? Was there a movie that went in between? No.
Yes, Captain Marvel. Because
okay. Yeah.
they teased her at the end of Infinity War.
All right.
Nick Fury sent out a beacon, and then we got her origin in between, and then that's how she was able to show up in Endgame.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds familiar now.
So, now this is how I'm reading this, Kurt. You tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like before this big announcement here, you were kind of waning a little bit on the MCU.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You were getting a little bored with it, and like, where are they going? I'm not really. This doesn't look like it's going to be anything. So after this announcement, it sounds like you're much more excited about what's coming up.
I'm excited talking about this stuff. Still looking at the list, I'm excited. I'm excited for my excitement revolves around Daredevil. So that's Echo, Daredevil. I guess I'm excited for Cap. And what that might go into. Looking at the list, I could tell you, like I'd go to right now I would plan to go to the movies to see Blade. After that, I don't know what I'd plan to go to the theater to see Cap and Thunderbolts, and like after that, I probably plan to go see the rest of those. Up until then, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll watch everything because I like talking to you about it. I like talking to my other friends about it. I like being in the know. Like there's, like Secret Invasion. I feel like that's going to be just like in the comic books where it's nothing. Like it has for me, that storyline, that idea has the potential for such like greatness, but then like it's just still like a little TV series. What can it do? Like it's just like a footnote. It feels like it's just like a filler. Now, I could be wrong, and like I had low expectations for every Guardians movie, or for each Guardians movie that we had, and I was pleasantly surprised with both. So, well, I don't know. I shouldn't have low expectations for it. The last two things I saw the dude in, though, like they sucked. Jurassic Park sucked, or Jurassic World sucked, and he sucked in Thor. I didn't think Thor was good to begin with, but like, he sure as hell didn't help it.
Yeah. Go watch the Terminal List, man. The best thing he's done in the past couple years. really
Yeah.
good, man. Really
Yeah.
good. I'm the same way, man. I'm not super excited about Secret Invasion. It's like whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm much more looking forward to getting to these other things like Daredevil, Blade, Cap, uh, Thunderbolts, and then clearly the big stuff in Phase 6.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super pumped for another event. Like
Yeah.
that's cool, man. And just to see, I am excited to see along the way, like, what are all these missing things? Like, there got to be some X-Men stories, you know. Do we actually get an X-Men film in there? Are we going to get like series to introduce them? Is there going to be like a series all about Magneto or a series of Wolverine's
Yeah.
origin? Like,
I think like they dropped the mutant line in Miss Marvel.
Mhm.
Where else are you going to have mutants? I think
Yeah.
like there's nowhere. What are you going to do? You can't wait all the way until 2024 to
Right.
do mutants again, right? There's
They're going
got
to
to
have
be
to
a
put them in
mutant.
here. Yeah.
There's going to be a mutant in here somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
There has to be some showing up in some of these other series. Like,
You would think.
whatever. Yeah, like Daredevil, the Marvels, Loki, like somewhere some mutant got to show up.
Ant-Man,
Yeah.
the Quantum verse or whatever, you can get a mutant in there. I don't know.
Mhm.
You get a mutant in anywhere here almost, right?
Yeah, it's just however they want to do it, man.
Yeah.
However
Yeah.
they want to work it in. So, well, shit, man. I feel like we discussed this pretty damn well all the way through. Um,
Yeah.
Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars. It's some big stuff on the horizon, the far horizon.
Yeah.
It's waiting. Go ahead.
I don't think we're gonna get much. I know I've heard like talk that people are excited to hear what else is gonna come in Phase 6. Like,
Yeah.
you think about it now, we got a couple like Daredevil, Cap, maybe Thunderbolts, but like Daredevil and Cap, those are pretty big. I'm more surprised with those two things than with Avengers. We know that we're gonna get the Avengers, right? And
Yeah.
if you really think about it, like they already showed that like it's tough to tell that story, such a big story, in one movie. Like, that should
Yeah.
be no surprise. The fact that it's in 1 year, I don't know, I guess that's a surprise, but like that surprise does not surprise me more than the Daredevil part,
The
and then
Thunderbolt.
like, yeah, the Cap and the Thunderbolt part, like that's
Yeah.
more surprising to me. And we get that announcement, and that's what, a year away or whatever. Like, that's not that far away.
Yeah.
Or no, I guess that's a year and a half away. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't.
So Captain America and Thunderbolts starts spring of 24. So it's
Yeah,
a ways away, a year and a half, yeah.
yeah,
So,
a year and a half.
and then
So
God, we're not getting to Fantastic Four and Avengers stuff for another year after that. So
yeah,
year and a
yeah,
half after that. So
and they're gonna put, probably just like the last Avengers movie, where you have that 6 months in between or whatever.
mhm.
I wonder if they shoehorn in something else to.
There is, I mean, you can see on the timeline there's empty slots. So
Yeah,
during the summer between those two movies, there's going to be something, and something else. There's two things during the summer. So I'm guessing one is a series, one is a movie.
yeah, yeah. A July movie, and a springtime TV series.
Yeah, both summer. So both maybe June, maybe August. Who knows?
Yeah,
But yeah, that's who knows, man. Like, so those are somehow, I'm guessing what's happening in between those will tie into like why Secret Wars. Like, why did Kang Dynasty morph into Secret Wars? That's,
yeah,
I mean, that's a different thing, man. I feel like it all deals with I guess timelines and the multiverse and stuff. But
yeah,
whereas Infinity War going into Endgame made sense. It was just like the Infinity War saga.
yeah.
But this one is
The,
like, I don't know, it feels a little more disconnected with the titles.
I bet like if you got a multiverse, right? How do you combine it? How do you make it one with a war, with a secret war, right?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
secret war that only these heroes know about. That's the secret part, right? I don't know.
No, and I've said
Yeah,
it the whole time, man. I've said this for like 5 years. the way that we finally get X-Men into the 616 Avengers
Yeah.
universe is Secret Wars. It is
Yeah.
the multiverse. Like, I think that that's when it officially happens. I think we'll get X-Men stuff, and my prediction is it won't be, it might not be in our universe.
Yeah.
Until after Secret Wars. And then it's like, oh, now we've got like the definitive Wolverine. We've got the definitive Professor X. We've got, you know, then we move forward with more X-Men and Fantastic Four stories. And I think we kind of maybe ramp down the Avengers stuff a little bit and ramp up the X-Men Fantastic Four stuff a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that's what we do. Like lean a little heavier into X-Men, F4, and a little lighter on Avengers, because we've had 15 years of Avengers. You know, let's see
Yeah.
who else is out there. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. Well, cool, dude. Let's wrap this up. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You're pretty
Yes.
excited, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing this. I know I sprung it on you yesterday and then kind of like told you today what time it was going to be, and you were like, yeah, I'll be there. So I appreciate that. You're always there at the drop of a hat to come and talk. And if you weren't, I'd be sitting here talking to myself right now. So I really appreciate that. And hey, man, I'm going to be talking to you again in 2 days when we do the Ms. Marvel roundtable with a big group of people. So
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
yeah, man. So thanks again for doing it. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Yeah. Anytime.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for the big Comic-Con announcement discussion with Ken and Kurt. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did having it. I think you can tell I had a really good time with that conversation. Unfortunately, Ken wasn't able to stay the entire time, but when he was here, I really enjoyed the input that he gave. So thank you so much, Ken, and thank you, Kurt. Just always being there at the drop of a hat to be on the show, as I said in the conversation. And guys, if you're not already, please subscribe, follow Marvel Plus so you can get all future episodes as soon as they drop. And also, do me a favor, go over, and if you enjoy the show, go over and give the show a rating and review over on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you leave a written review, actually tell me what it is you like or dislike about the show on Apple Podcasts. I will read it right here on the show, and also I will enter you into a drawing that I'm doing for some sweet Marvel Plus merch, probably a t-shirt or a, I don't know, something cool. So go over there, give us a rating and review, and that really helps the show to reach a larger audience. If you want to add to today's conversation, and I bet you do, because this is a lot of cool stuff to talk about, you can reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram at RealBrettScott, or you can email the show directly at marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. Also, if any of you are interested in being a guest for the She-Hulk series, the upcoming series, 9 episodes, if you're interested in being a guest on one of those episodes, please reach out, marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. I've got a few slots filled already, but a whole bunch of open ones. I'm always looking to find new guests for the show or anything else coming up. Any of the stuff that we discussed, the Disney Plus stuff coming up, I'm going to be covering it all, and I need new guests all the time. So if you're interested, if you're a big fan of the MCU, if you're a podcaster, if you're a YouTuber, if you just love the MCU, come be on the show, man. This is what it's all about. Half the people I have on don't do podcasting, don't do YouTube or anything like that. They're just mega fans of the MCU. So yeah, please reach out. I'd love to have you on the show. And what else? Yeah, you can get extra bonus episodes and a video version of this episode and all episodes if you go over and sign up for the Marvel Plus Patreon. The lowest tier is $1, and you get all the video versions of the podcast. And if you sign up at the $3 tier, which is the top tier, you get like everything that I do over there. Extra podcasts, reviews of the films, and other stuff outside of the Disney Plus space. So if you're interested in that, please go check out Marvel Plus Podcast go check out patreon.com/Marvel Plus. Links to that in the description. Also links to get in touch with Ken Janssens and Kurt Schmidt in the description as well. So I think that's going to do it, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this, like I said, last minute but very exciting episode of the show. As always, my name is Brett Scott, and this has been Marvel Plus.